Hey there! So, if you're a PMHNP and you're maybe getting a little tired of that daily commute or just find yourself wondering what it would be like to work from home, well, you have definitely come to the right place. We're going to break down everything you need to know about this huge shift toward remote work that's happening in our field right now.
All right, so here's our game plan. We'll start with the big picture, the telehealth transformation. Then we'll get into the nitty-gritty of the remote work reality. After that, we'll talk money, the salary landscape, and we'll wrap up with how to actually find your remote position and set up that perfect home office.
First up, the telehealth transformation. So, why is the demand for remote PMHNPs just exploding right now? I mean, it seems like everyone is talking about these roles, right? Well, it's because this isn't just some passing trend. It's a massive shift in how we deliver mental health care, and it's all being driven by a really huge unmet need all across the country.
Okay, just look at this number for a second. 160 million. That's how many Americans are living in areas where there's a shortage of mental health providers. For these folks, getting care isn't just hard, it can be downright impossible. It's a staggering problem.
And this is the game changer. Telehealth. It's the answer to that huge problem we just talked about. For us as PMHNPs, this is such a massive opportunity to make a real difference. It's like this one innovation just completely redraws the map, you know? It connects all those patients who need help with providers like you and me.
And you can see this shift happening in the job market big time. Since 2020, it's just been an explosion. Get this, 35% of all PMHNP job postings are now remote or hybrid. Think about that for a second. That's more than 1 in 3 jobs. This proves telehealth isn't some tiny niche anymore. It's become a central part of what we do. Okay, on to our next section, the remote work reality. So what does it actually take to do this successfully from home? It's definitely more than just a good laptop and a comfy chair. There's some really key legal and technical things you've got to have locked down.
And this is probably the biggest question you need to ask right out of the gate. Can you practice independently? The answer to that really comes down to one thing, the state where you're licensed. It's state law that decides just how much autonomy you have.
As you can see, there's a pretty clear divide. We've got the green states, or full practice authority states. In those places, you can diagnose, treat, and prescribe all on your own, which is, absolutely perfect for remote work. Then you have the other states, the red states, where you'll need some level of physician collaboration. It's not a deal breaker at all. It's totally manageable, but it's a super important distinction to know about.
Now, let's talk about the essentials. Just because you're at home doesn't mean the professional standards change one bit. A private, HIPAA-compliant workspace is absolutely non-negotiable, and your tech has to be solid. We're talking reliable, high-speed internet, a good webcam, a decent headset. You also have to be comfortable with EMR and telehealth platforms. Oh, and here's a pro tip for you. If you can, get licensed in multiple states. It will seriously open up so many more job opportunities.
Okay, let's get into the part I know you've been waiting for, the remote salary landscape. This is the big question, right? What can you actually expect to earn? Do you have to take a pay cut for all that flexibility? Well, let's dive into the numbers.
So right off the bat, $173,000. That's the average annual salary for a remote PMHNP. The numbers are definitely not just good, they're really strong. It just goes to show you that companies are absolutely willing to pay top dollar to get great PMHNPs for these telehealth roles.
Now, let's compare apples to apples here. At first glance, you might see that the salary range for in-person jobs is sometimes a little bit higher. But here's the thing you got to think about: overhead. With remote work, your overhead is basically zero. But for in-person, think about the gas, the car maintenance, the professional wardrobe, buying lunch, all that adds up to thousands of dollars a year. When you factor that in, the remote job often means you're taking home more money. And honestly, how can you even put a price on getting all that time and flexibility back?
And it's not like you're going to get stuck at one salary. There is a very clear path for growth here. You can see how the numbers climb as you gain experience. You start out strong, and as you move through your career, your earning potential really takes off. For experienced pros, especially if you go into private practice, you can easily be looking at over 180 grand, and for many, even pushing past that $200,000 mark.
All right, next up, finding your remote position. So let's say you're on board. The demand is there, the money's good, you know what you need to get started, but where do you actually go to find these gigs? Let's get practical.
Here's the secret. You have to stop wasting your time on those giant, generic job boards where you have to sift through a million irrelevant postings. You need a resource that's built just for us, and that is PMHNPhiring.com.
Seriously, it's the #1 place to go to find jobs in our specialty without all the extra noise.
And the process couldn't be easier. It's literally 4 steps. You go to the website, that's PMHNPhiring.com. You hit the filter and just select remote or telehealth. And boom, you'll see all these amazing jobs. And they even show you the salary ranges right up front. Then just set up a job alert, which is free, and the new jobs will land right in your inbox. It really is that simple.
We've made it to our last section, your ideal home office. This is the final piece of the puzzle, and it's so important. Your success as a remote PMHNP really depends on having a workspace that's professional, secure, and lets you be productive. So let's talk about how to get it right from the very beginning.
I really love this idea. Your next role could be right at your kitchen table. It just makes the whole thing feel so real, so close. Now, for HIPAA and privacy reasons, you probably shouldn't literally work at the kitchen table, but the point is your next incredible, high-paying, high-impact job could literally be just a few feet away from where you make your coffee in the morning. How cool is that?
So here it is, a final checklist to get you started. You absolutely need a quiet, private professional space. That's rule #1 for being HIPAA compliant. You also have to invest in your tech. A good webcam and plugging directly into your router with a hardwired connection can make all the difference. Good lighting, a professional background, those things matter too. And maybe most importantly, set really clear boundaries for your work hours so you can protect that amazing work-life balance.
So that brings us to the end. And I'll just leave you with this final thought. We've talked about how the demand is sky high, the pay is fantastic, and the technology makes it all possible. The chance to do meaningful, critical work, but with so much more freedom and flexibility, well, it's right here, right now. So the only question left is this your next chapter?